All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome, welcome. I want to thank Bishop Prophet Banks for the invitation and for holding this forum. Thank everybody for attending. Thank everybody for getting a plate. And thank you for, most importantly, for being here because you care about what's happening with the City Clerk's office in Detroit. My name is Garland Gilchrist II, and I am a native Detroit. I love the city. I'm going on Grandma's schoolcraft. And the things I learned living at that corner with that hard work and strong community are what makes this city great. Alongside many things, hard work and strong community. This community has poured a whole heap of love into me. The community, my family, my friends. And that's what propelled me to consider this office today. When I was 5 years old, my grandma Doris, who unfortunately recently passed away about a week and a half ago, she bought me my first computer. When I was 5 years old, she made me the first kid on my block to have a computer. She was also a social studies teacher at Munger Middle School on the west side, right next door to Chapel. She used to take her little baby to her classroom as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, to her 8th grade social studies classroom to teach me about history, about civics, about civil rights, about leadership, learning about leaders and heroes from Detroit, like Reverend C.L. Franklin, to national people and around the world. It's her legacy that I've thought about since November. I thought about as I've been considering running for this office. I saw the catastrophe that happened in November 2016. How many of y'all were voters? I expected most of y'all to be voters. How many of y'all were embarrassed by what happened?
Yes. It's the next question. Bad.
I experienced that process.
Embarrassed about what?
Experienced about how the voting process did not work in our city.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh,
I voted
right.
at Grand River and Trumbull with my wife and two 3-year-old twins. Took them to school an hour and a half late, and it took us an hour and a half to vote that morning. I wanted them to have a great civic experience, to vote for the first woman president. And they weren't able to have that. I ended up having to shove my cell phone in their face. Because if y'all ever met a 3-year-old, they don't like to do things for an hour and a half they didn't ask to do. That showed me, and another Reverend Detroit experience, that we had a process that needed to be fixed. In addition to being a husband and a father, I'm a problem solver and an innovator. I went to college and got 2 engineering degrees in computer science and computer engineering. I know how to solve problems with technology. I worked at Microsoft for 4 years, helping build the fastest growing business in Microsoft's history, from $0 to $1 billion in 9 months. I know how to solve problems with technology and fix things. I left that realm to work for political empowerment. I've organized, registered, and mobilized tens of thousands of voters across the country, including in the state of Michigan and including in the city of Detroit. 35,000 voters on behalf of President Obama in 2012 alone. I know how to animate and work with people to make sure their political voice is heard. I know how to solve problems and fix broken systems. When my wife and my 10-month-old twins returned back home to Detroit in 2014 from Washington, D.C. and working in politics, I wanted to work with the city and for the city to fix broken problems. And since then, I've been able to solve life and death challenges, working to make sure that firefighters had fire hydrants that worked in neighborhoods like this one to make sure they didn't hook up to broken hydrants and have homes burned. Making sure that people who wanted information, which is a key role of the Detroit City Clerk, to have access to that information, are writing policy on data and transparency. I know how to solve these problems, fix these systems, and I've done it throughout my career. And that's what I want to do as your next Detroit City Clerk. Thank you.
And we pray that your grandmother's soul will rest in peace.
Thank you.
Okay, bless you. Bless you. Okay, our next candidate.
So my name is Adam Olier. Thanks for having me. I'm running for City Clerk in Detroit, and I'm running because this last election, 59% of precincts had errors, and that's 100% unacceptable. So when you look at that race, that means that more than 300 precincts had at least one issue. And when you look at what that means, and you say, well, does one vote count? It does. You look at a guy like Chris Blunt, who ran for judge, lost by 67 votes. And that's critically important as a young black man because we are too often in front of the criminal justice system. And when you have a young black man running for judge, and he loses a race that maybe he won or maybe he didn't, because people went out and voted for him, and you go out and you talk to folks and they say, I don't vote because my vote doesn't count. And then they look at a race and they say, see, I told you they're gonna put in who they want to put in, and that's not somebody that looks like me. And not only is that frustrating, but it's unacceptable. And so if we don't get the city clerk's race right, if we don't get that fixed, nothing else matters. And it's gotta matter, and it's gotta be more than just the elections. It's my firm belief that the city clerk has three main responsibilities. The first being elections, which is critical and important. But the second is absolutely being the official record keeper of the city. It means that you make information available and accessible. And by making information available and accessible, you can hold people accountable and you can participate in government. As we talk about it and we look and we say, well, why are things happening just downtown? Why are contracts going to these people and not going to these folks? It's because you weren't able to access it, because you didn't see the information, because you didn't know what was going on. And that's just unacceptable, especially in this day and age when information can be readily available. And a lot of communities do an excellent job by doing it. The city of Detroit just hasn't. And it hasn't because we haven't made it a priority. Very simple stuff. So the same packet the city council gets every week, you should be getting. They should be able to post it right online, and you can do it. The city of Lansing does it. The city of Clarkson does it. Smaller, bigger cities all do those things. And we should be doing it. But the last part, and I think probably one of the more critical components of being a city clerk, is making sure that people have a space for actual information about elections. So it doesn't do us any good if we say, hey, here's your ballot, you can go vote, your vote will be counted. If you don't understand what's on your ballot, if you've never seen any of these people, if you've never heard of any of those things, and candidates don't take the time or the effort to educate, they are just trying to persuade individuals who they know are going to vote. So that's why young people don't vote, because nobody's saying, hey, let's get those young people involved, because their votes aren't as important, because they aren't concerned with it. But if we don't get young people involved and invested, our communities don't change. And when you look at neighborhoods across this city, you can tell which neighborhood votes by how those neighborhoods look. And we've got to fix that. And that's on the city clerk. The city clerk has got to make sure you understand proposals like community benefits agreements, whether they understand what these tax incentives do, and whether they understand who and what they're electing. And people don't. And they haven't. And that's unacceptable. So like I said, my name is Adam O'Leary. I'm running for city clerk because I think we can do better. I believe we have to do better, and I've made my career by doing it. So I worked in the state legislature, I worked in the mayor's office, and I'm really proud that I live in the same neighborhood I was raised in, right here in the North End. And it makes a big difference. You know, it makes a difference that we stay in our communities and that we fix them. So.
My name is Mark Tuttle, and my concern was with the write-in candidates. How would you claim that Detroit has like a 50% literacy rate? How would you count ballots if the ballots are misspelled or say Mickey Mouse or somebody else listed?
So I would follow state law, you know, and there's nothing else you can do. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You follow state law, stuff like that. The city clerk is not a decider of all these policy issues. They're an administrator. Their job is to make sure that when you come in, you have faith that the system works. So how do you make sure that you do that? You do a tabular audit. When you talk about training, the industry standard across the nation, most poll workers get less than 2.5 hours of training. Communities that are extremely successful have that training online, so not just poll workers can get it, but you can get it. So you are an informed voter when you go to the poll. So that there are people who are walking the line and saying, hey, Miss Glenn, how are you doing? Do you have everything you need? Do you have your ID? Oh, I understand you forgot your ID, that's okay. They're gonna have to ask you if you have your ID, but you don't have to have it, you just have to sign the affidavit. Things like that. And so when you say, well, there are people who are functionally illiterate and there are all these folks, you have to have folks that are dealing with that proactively. So not saying, hey brother, can you read? But saying, man, you know, we've got all these resources. If you're having any issues, you know, we'd love to have folks who can help and support this. And we can do that with English as a second language, and we can do that with folks who have functional literacy. What we have to do is be proactive and make sure that people don't feel embarrassed that they can't read and write, but that they understand that we have the same level of support for those folks. And we can do that in communities that are very successful doing it. And Detroit can be one of them.
Our next candidate for the 2017 Detroit City Clerk will be Michael Richard. Okay. Michael Richard.
Go. Good afternoon, Detroit. Bishop, First Lady, thank you for having this forum. Very good idea. Hi, my name is Michael Richard, candidate for Detroit City Clerk. The problem with Detroiters are they don't know if their vote counts. Their vote does count. But all Detroiters want is an honest, fair election. An honest, fair election. They want to know when they go to bed and they wake up, the person that they voted for, if they won it honestly, they lost it, well, they're upset. There's people like former Commissioner Keith Williams. This man has devoted his entire life to the county. He works hard for the county. However, he works hard, he runs real hard. What happens if someone does not like him and instead of giving him his votes, gives it to somebody else? That's wrong. That's wrong. People devote their lives to helping out the city. They should get elected fairly and squarely. I worked for the city clerk, the past city clerk, Jackie Curry, for 6.5 years. I was in the training department. I did basically everything in the training department. In fact, I'm wearing a pin that I helped design. In the training department from 2000 to 2006, we trained poll workers. When they left our office, they knew how to run a poll. Now, I went to a community forum last night. People said that there were long lines. The ballot boxes didn't work. The ballot machines broke down. They weren't sure if their vote was counted. We need to have honest, fair elections. People register to vote. They get out and vote. We got to make sure that their vote counts. I have a background in city government. I spent the last 20 years with the city of Detroit, and again, 6.5 years with the former city clerk. I do apologize. We were slow. However, we were accurate. There are people like our county clerk. She needs to go to bed on election day knowing that there's no problems with the city of Detroit elections instead of what's happening with Detroit now. Her job is already hard enough. She doesn't have to work twice as hard to recount our votes. I worked for Hillary Clinton's campaign as the Deputy Director of Operations. I was involved in the recount. Some of those ballots couldn't be counted. Something was wrong with the ballot boxes. The poll workers didn't know what to do. We have to have people trained more than once or twice a year. If there's a problem with your poll, I'm sorry, I like you, nothing personal, but you need to be retrained. If you don't want to be retrained, then you're going to have to leave because the people in Detroit deserve better. We all know that there's a problem. None of us are pointing fingers. We want to fix the problem. Someone mentioned about, well, you know, Coleman Young and everybody else is going to be out for state government. That's perfect for other people. I am the city clerk. I ran for it in 2009. Unfortunately, for some reason, 55,000 ballots were not counted correctly. I lost by 3,200 votes. We still don't know to this day. I probably could have been in the general election. This last election, there were so many irregularities going on with the ballots, nobody knew what happened. I tell people, if John Kennedy was running for president right now and had to depend on Detroit, he wouldn't have won. People, we need people that are trained, people that are involved in the community. I've been in the community. I work for, again, Jackie. I work for Congressman Conyers. I work on the county side. We need people involved in the county that loves the county, that loves the city, that wants to work hard for the city. Again, my name is Michael Richard. I have a background in politics and in administration. I am going to be your next city clerk. Thank you.
Michael Richard, 2017 Detroit City Clerk candidate. All right. Next month, right here, we will have the mayoral forum. Every month we have a forum going on. The mayoral forum. Coleman Young Jr. will be here. 2 21-year-old candidates that's running for mayor. And also remember, this forum here is also being taped right now for television. A very hot TV show, Comcast Channel 90, where all the city council has been on, mayor's been on, all the judges, 36th District, Wayne County 3rd Circuit Court has been on. So it's a very established community show. But we get ready to move on to our next candidate, okay? Our next candidate will be, oh, he's right here. He was just on the show last week and the week before. A man that's really out here in the community, on the move, Hester Wheeler. Let's give him a hand,
Thank you, Bishop Banks, and thank you, Dr. Banks, and thanks to all of you for being here this evening. I'm not sure that we are having the right conversation sometimes as it relates to this clerk's race. So my name is Hester Wheeler. My campaign name is Reclaiming Our Voice. There was a time that nothing significant happened in the state of Michigan without Detroit being a major player. Now you can get elected in the state of Michigan without even coming by Detroit. I'm not sure we're having the right conversation about the power of the bully pulpit that the clerk lives. My commitment is to recruit and train. My commitment is to fight for a robust budget. My commitment is to ensure that technology and innovation is at the center of everything that we do. My commitment is to make voter registration user-friendly. There's no reason our high school students are graduating with just their high school diploma and not a voter registration card. This ain't rocket science. My commitment is to revitalize the spirit of our people to know that we should never ever dwell beneath our privilege. You don't have power if you don't use it.
That's right.
And the great equalizer in this game called the American dream is voting. You don't have power if you don't use it. In many ways, the fact that Trump won Michigan is because 250,000 Detroiters stayed home. The fact that we lost on a regional transportation bill is because Detroiters stayed home. I don't care what our situation is. Most of us came out of poverty. Most of us. It's but for the grace of God. Many of us are 3 or 4 paychecks away from broke anyway. We act as if we're afraid of poor people. We act as if we don't know how to accommodate or make adjustments. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter if you have poor reading skills. We have to make allowances. We know who our people are, but the absolute bottom line is that you cannot be of service to our people if you don't love our people unconditionally. Unconditionally. So a part of you, many of you know me, I'm a brother from the neighborhood. I'm from Linwood. 5 brothers, 4 sisters, both my parents at one point worked. My mom worked as a domestic. My dad worked in a couple of factories, Dodge Main by day and Excel Corporation by afternoon. I'm number 4 in a family of 10. I had the opportunity to serve as a firefighter for the city of Detroit for almost 14 years. I was president of Detroit's Black Firefighters. But even before I got to the fire department, I've been an activist advocate all of my life. In the 7th grade, we turned over tables in the lunchroom at Hutchins Middle School because they didn't have black people in our textbooks. And we walked out during the lunch hour. When I got to Wayne State University, I was very active. I was the brother debating with the revolutionary workers and the socialists and all those white folk down there that thought they had the solutions to move America forward. I went to the fire department. I became president of Detroit's Black Firefighters. My commitment then, as it is now, to ensure access. I believe the very best way to predict the future is to create it. Nothing we do matters if young people don't get the benefit.
Yes.
Nothing we do matters. In fact, if you're part of an activist or advocacy experience and there ain't no young people, that's called sudden death. As soon as you're done, it's over. So we've got to make voting relevant. I had the opportunity, I went from the fire department to Lansing I served as a legislative assistant to Carolyn Cheeksco-Patrick for a little less than 2 years. I got hired by the phone company. I served as director of government affairs for about 4 years, working on telecommunications issues. I left that position and got hired by the Speaker of the House. I served as deputy director, House Democratic Communications staff. And then I left that position and got hired as a lobbyist for Detroit Public Schools. So I worked on a myriad of public policy issues. I'm not new to this. I went to the NAACP in 1999, served through the year 2011, organizing, educating, and mobilizing. That's the stuff we do. When Bush stole the election in the year 2000, we organized and we mobilized. And we said, count every vote, because every vote no count. That's the same mantra that we have to live here in the city of Detroit. There's no reason people don't trust this experience. But I know how to fix things. We organized and we mobilized. We took 57 buses. Brother just reminded me, we took 57 buses to the steps of the U.S. Supreme Court when we had that affirmative action fight. We had this fool named Ward Connolly in Michigan, same skin, no kin. But we got a lot of brothers like that who are our color, but they're not our kind. So what I'm suggesting is there's a spirit. We've got to reclaim our voice in the city of Detroit. We've got to revitalize the spirit of our young people. We are a powerhouse, but we don't have power if we don't use it. I'm gonna stop here.
Here's what we're gonna do. After every candidate has spoken, we're gonna line up right here, every candidate, and you get to take some more time, and everybody get to ask more questions, because I sense that we got a hungry audience here. These people, a lot of these people in here, they stand for the truth, and they want a clerk in office that's going to get it done in things, okay? And we do have the capability of the candidates, what we have here, has the capability of really challenging the city clerk, Janice Winfrey. We have some competitive, tenacious candidates here who's established out in the community, who's doing a great work out there in the community, and I like what I see, okay? I just want to let you know, I like what I see. We got some good, strong candidates, and you're doing a good job tonight. All right, we got one more candidate that we're getting ready to bring forward, doing a great job out there in the community, Attorney Deanna Wilcoxon. Let's give her a little hand. Let's give her a hand.
Good evening, Detroit. Good evening. I am not running for city clerk because of the fiasco that we experienced in 2016. I am running for city clerk because of the fiascos that we have experienced under this clerk's tenure. That's 11, 12 years. I am not a Johnny-come-lately. I've been in the trenches for the last 30 years fighting for this city. And if you'd like to fact check me, ask the residents of the city of Detroit. I was in the trenches with them. I know this city, I know its problems. I especially know its problems as they relate to the office of city clerk. I have fought the incumbent clerk on a number of issues. I have taken her to the governor of the state, the secretary of state, the attorney general, and the state director of elections. And I did all of that because in my estimation, the power of the vote in a democracy is the most important power that we have. If you do not understand that your vote has power, all you have to do is look at the city of Detroit as your test case. When you do not vote, people come in and redistribute your wealth. They manufacture a bankruptcy. They take all of your assets and they turn them over to authorities. In 2009, a lot of you know I ran for mayor, not to win. I ran to change the paradigm of the discussion. And I said then that we were not the authority of Detroit, we were the city of Detroit. 2009, I said that. Fast forward, we're 2017. And no one has been responsible to the residents of the city of Detroit to the extent that they need responsibility. I am an integrity-driven candidate. I know that because the residents of the city of Detroit have told me so. I take my directives from the residents of the city of Detroit. When the city clerk's office does not count ballots, does not match seals, does not train her employees, that is a stain not only on the city of Detroit, it is a stain on the clerk, it is a stain on the mayor, it is a stain on all that we stand for. How do we fix that? We install a clerk who understands, based on putting sweat equity in the ring, how we get this right. I have paid for 3 recounts in this city. Wow. I know how elections are stolen in this city. And I don't mind telling you, your elections have been stolen. I do not mind telling you that theft by deception is theft. It doesn't matter whether you were deceived into the theft or it was theft on its face. Anytime you cannot recount 60% of your ballots, you cannot prove to me that you ever counted the 60% of the ballots that you tell me you can't recount. My doctorate is in law. I believe in the body of proof. We have not gotten any body of proof from this clerk. I grew up on Irma Henderson's political knee. I was the last of the administrative aides that worked in her office. I was one of the last legal minds that worked in Coleman Young's law department. I learned early on how to fight politically from Mrs. Henderson and the great late Coleman Young Sr. But before that, I learned from my father, I learned from my grandfather, and I learned from my mother how to stand up and be counted. My father, who died just shy of my 10th birthday, always told us that if you are walking upright, no one can walk on your back. At 6 years old, I confronted the segregationalist, Mr. Segregationalist, George Wallace, at 6 years old. I refused to shake the governor's hand, and he refused to shake mine. But it was my conviction in terms of who I was. I knew at that early age that I was a black person and that there were distinctions that were made between black folk and other folk in this country. And we can't get past the issue of race until we have an honest discussion. And unfortunately, far too many of us don't want to have honest discussions. We want to be about the business of taking everything that we can take for ourselves from the system. Once we take it, we want to run out and tell the community how we are a part of you. We love you, we embrace you. That's not enough. That's not enough. This community demands that people show it that they love it by being in the trenches with it. I have the history, I have the scars to prove it, and I have the people of this city behind me. I was drafted to run for this position by the residents of the city of Detroit, and I won't let them down.